Welcome to Color Harmony. My name is Eric Francis. In this video, we'll be discussing sketching. This video is the second part of a three-part series. In the first video, we spoke about the advantages and disadvantages to using photo references. And we also talked a little bit about some of my favorite places to find pictures on the internet. Now, we're going to talk about the importance of sketching. There are two very good reasons why we should make a sketch before we start the painting. The first reason is you want to get your ideas from out of your head onto a sheet of paper. The second reason is you really want to get warmed up. You want to switch over to the artist's way of thinking and seeing. It makes painting a whole lot easier. So let's talk about the first reason. You really want to get the idea from out of your head onto your drawing pad. For the most part, I don't add every single detail. I don't draw every single eyelash and every single strand of hair. There are some things that I just leave out. And then there are other things that I add. And I want to see what it's going to look like. Sometimes I want to make the eyes, I want to make them pop more. I want to add more detail. And sometimes I want to add less. By making that drawing, you get to see what it's going to look like. Or maybe you're creating a hyper-realistic portrait and you're going to be adding details. And when you make this little sketch, you get to see how you're going to position a thing on the canvas. I really love the old masters, and I'm in awe of what they were able to accomplish. And when I look at their work, I think, man, how were they able to do that? But then you go even deeper, and you look at the amount of sketching that they used to do. They left nothing up to chance. They made it as good as they possibly could, and I'm trying to do the same thing. I want my work to be as good as it possibly can. And the second reason is we have to make a mental shift to the artist's way of thinking. We have to be able to do this consciously. We normally make this shift unconsciously, but it's something we have to learn how to do. Our dominant way of thinking is verbal, it's analytic, it's temporal. It's rational, it's logical, and it's linear. But when you switch over to the artist's way of thinking, it's nonverbal. It's actual instead of symbolic. It's non-temporal. You lose track of time. It's not rational. You deal with spatial relationships. It's intuitive. This should all be sounding a little bit familiar to you know? And you have to make that switch. Because in your normal way of thinking, you're reading signs, you're talking to people, you're putting things together logically. But when you switch over to the artist's way of thinking, it's completely different. You're not working with a symbol system. You're seeing things as they actually are. We're thinking with our eyes and not with our brain. Your brain is going to throw out a lot of symbols and tell you that this is absolutely incorrect. But your eyes are saying this is what it is. And when you make this switch over, drawing and painting, if you have the right tools, becomes as easy as watching TV, as easy as walking and eating or anything else. But you have to be able to make the switch over. This is extremely important. Now, you teach yourself how to make this switch by recognizing when you're in the zone, when you actually make the switch over from verbal to nonverbal, when you're seeing things as lines and shapes, and you get this feeling like you're in the flow, or you're in the zone by taking the time which could only be a few minutes, to make a little drawing or a little painting, you make the switch. Your normal way of thinking, your dominant way of thinking, isn't equipped to make realistic drawings and paintings. It's just gonna get in your way. You know exactly what I mean. Your brain is gonna start to complain. As it should. It's not its job. It's the job of the artist mind. So take your time and make the switch. I first got introduced to this idea many years ago in college when I read a book called Drawing on the Right Side of the Brain. It's by Betty Edwards, and it's by far the best instructional book I've ever read. Even if you don't feel like doing anything, just start doodling. You'll get right into it. I'm about to share some tips on painting with you, so let's go back to the beginning. Okay, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you have, like, subscribe, share, and/or leave a comment. If you want to see more art, you can check out my blog. There'll be a link in the description. If you enjoy this content and you've been learning a lot and you want to do more to support this content, you can donate. Your donations go to pay for paints, paintbrushes, canvases, and all the knickknacks I need to keep this thing going. There is a button on my blog that'll take you to PayPal, and I thank you in advance for whatever you leave. These videos are made in response to questions I get asked all the time, so feel free to ask. Peace.